The Duval Talks, a podcast that inspires creators to make meaningful content and pursue their passions. My name is Nick Cano.
And I'm Bismarck Javier Hermano.
We're musicians and videographers from Jacksonville, Florida. We're sitting down with creators talking about their creative process, lessons they've learned, and as well as how to go about making an impact in their community. Welcome back to Duval Talks. My name is Nick Cano. We have a very special guest today, two of them actually. Bismarck could not be here, sadly, but we have someone to replace him for now. And today, his name is Jasper.
Mr. Jasper.
He's the man. And then the special guest today is one of my literally lifelong friends. Only one pretty much I got.
You already know.
His name is Gino Smith. Introduce yourself, my friend.
It's nice to meet you guys. My name is Gino Smith. I've been doing dog training for the past 9 years. It's been a passion more than a career, but every day and every dog that I encounter, it's a new adventure and a new journey. So it's just something that I enjoy to do on my everyday.
What was the name of the first dog you had? Muscles?
Muscles.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know how I remembered that. That randomly came back to me. The first time I met Muscles was when Muscles fell into the pool.
Oh,
no, that
yeah.
was a couple times after I met him. But still, Muscles had fallen into the pool at your house.
Yep.
And at the time, it was the off season for the pool. So the pool wasn't exactly in the tip-top shape when it's in the off season because no one gets in it.
Right.
So poor little puppy falls into the pool. It wasn't a puppy yet. He's a grown man at that time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Falls into the pool. My dog Gino got to save him. And I've only seen your love for dogs grow from there, my friend. So that's real.
Appreciate you, man.
From there, Muscles, after, did he pass away? Did y'all have to put him down? What happened to Muscles?
Yeah, he ended up getting like some liver condition, so
That's right.
I just kind of snuck up on him, but
I remember that.
yeah.
But how old was he? He lived a good life.
He ended up being 12.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
He
was
lived
there
a
for
good
minute.
life.
Yeah.
And after that, you had Gia,
Yep.
right?
Found you.
That was like the first, to me at least, for what I would say, your breakthrough for dog training.
Oh, for sure.
Because
Yeah.
Gia was definitely like the dog everyone was scared of,
Scared of, but loved.
but loved.
Right.
Because even though she's a sweetheart, it's just, I don't know, she's very intimidating. Two
Oh.
colored eyes. What kind of dog is she again?
She's a Siberian Husky and a German Shepherd mix.
If that says anything about it, that should say a lot. But she's a sweetheart, but she's very well trained, very well mannered. I feel like that's the
Definitely.
most intimidating part.
Sure.
It's like she's nice, but she's so well mannered, you would think that she's mean. Then after that was Galax.
Yep.
Galax is the sweetest.
Definitely.
Not really a mean bone in his body unless it's about a toy
Right.
or maybe a treat.
Yep.
Other than that, tell me about Galax a little bit. He's got a good little story behind him.
Yeah. So, Galax is my pit mix. Everybody has their stereotypes on pits. I have nothing against any breed of dog, but every breed has their downfall. So
I mean, as we
You
talked
know.
about, dogs got to be trained right.
right.
We've seen that with my Aunt Connie with her Shar-Pei
Yep.
because her past Shar-Pei was the meanest dog on earth. And the one she has now that you're training is,
Right.
very friendly.
Exactly.
Yeah, literally the complete opposite. So,
Right.
yeah, I don't believe in that stereotype of a dog even being mean because
Right.
if it's raised and trained correctly,
Right. Exactly.
it's environment.
Right. Environments are very important. So Galax was my first dog that I actually, wanted to seek out and get on my own. Gia and I, we ventured to the Humane Society one day. My mom told me, hey, don't come back home with a dog. I was like, yeah, no worries. You already know how my mom is. She's like, yep, you can go, but do not bring a dog back. And I was like, all right, I'm going to just go look. So it was like 3 days before Christmas. Gia and I are just strolling through. And I walk in, and I'm like, all right, they don't have any dogs inside of this room, so I'm going to walk out. Soon as I was about to open up the door, I looked to my left, and there's this little black dog just curled up in the corner. And I was like, well, that's odd. So I went and talked to the little girl that was over there that was working and volunteering. I was like, hey, what's this guy's story? And someone was like, well, a family's here to come and see him. And I was like, dang, just my luck. So I wasn't really bugged out about it. I went ahead and kept looking. So I went to the larger dogs, and didn't really find anything that met my criteria or Gia's liking, so kind of started venturing our way back to the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then the girl caught me at the door, and she's like, "Hey, that family didn't want that dog. Do you want to look at him?" And I'm like, "Of course."
Oh,
you know,
God.
truth behold, I'm like, "Hey, we'll go check him out." So we went out to the little play yard. Gia digged him. I was like, he's only 9, 10 weeks old.
Yeah, little buddy.
That's right, he's a little guy. So like, can't really shut him down. So I'm like, "Hey, how much is it?" And they were like, "Well, it's a special because it's close to Christmas, so it's only $25." And I'm like, "You telling a young kid this dog right here is only $25?"
Cop.
Sold. So I went ahead and got him a leash and collar, popped him in the car, ventured our way back home. And then as soon as that garage door opened, my mom's like, "Oh, you were at the Humane Society for a while." This little head just pops up out of my jacket, and she was like, "Oh, that explains why you were gone so long." And that's how I got Galax.
And then you get the lecture.
Yep, got the lecture. Definitely got the lecture. A couple of nights.
Yeah.
Not even just the first night.
Yeah, probably 6 months later. I told you 6 months ago not to bring no fucking dog into this house. Okay, that's how it really be.
Really,
Yeah.
yep. They tell us not to do it, and we go and do it anyway.
So for the people that don't know, well, I mean, they probably know now. You've had dogs around you for the majority of your life.
Yep.
And that plays a big part in probably, becoming
Definitely.
a dog trainer. And talk a little bit about your process of, like, maybe how you got your first client, how you realized you wanted to be a dog trainer.
Sure.
Stuff like that.
Okay. So, like, I just throughout my teenage years, everybody tries out jobs and tries to see, they can find something that, as soon as we get out of high school, we can like they'll, bring in compensation and pay the bills, but at the same time you can enjoy it. Definitely fought through a couple of jobs. Luckily, I found spot on at Pet Paradise, so it was a little pet boarding facility.
And you were in your battle between basketball and dog training for
Yes.
a while. Now that I think about it.
Definitely.
Now that we're
Definitely.
reminiscing on things.
Definitely.
And I know that was a big thing for you too.
Sure.
Because you definitely wanted, basketball and track.
Right.
Not just basketball, but track as well.
Right.
Yeah, because you were good. You're good at sports.
Appreciate it.
You're good at sports. You're built for that shit. And but I know it's like you're saying, you get out of high school and you start looking at that wanting to build
Right.
wealth, longevity of
Sure.
business,
Mhm.
And I don't know. I think you made the right move, man. I
Appreciate
know that
you.
shit's a lot, but continue. Didn't mean to
Yeah.
interrupt you. I was
No,
just
no,
thinking
you're
about
good.
that.
But it kind of like topped that though. Like, it was a hard decision because like, nowadays growing up, we see stuff on TV and it's like, is that a life that I could possibly live? And then like, as you grow through life and you mature, you kind of start seeing the reality of things and like
Yeah,
if it's gonna actually play out in your benefit. So like, right around my 10th grade year, I was like, I think I might just be doing this, for the fun of it. But like,
Right.
as soon as time starts crunching down, I should probably start looking into something that's gonna like, better me off in life and keep me out of trouble for sure.
Yeah. And it's all about those moves that you make too, because it's like you gotta
Right.
look at that long-term, short-term deals.
Sure.
As far as whether, because me and you kind of have that similarities of not going to college so much,
Right.
And trying to make a business for ourselves, because on the same aspect, like I was playing the saxophone, and I ultimately, when I graduated high school, I pretty much put that to a halt
Right.
to pursue whether if it's mixed master and engineering
Yep.
or photography and film. The shit I do. So
Exactly.
you know how I be.
Right.
But yeah, it's sacrifices in the ultimate goal.
Mhm.
It's whether if you love it, do it for fun, or
Right.
want to take that route. But going to college for a sport, it's hard.
Sure. Way more
know,
competition. Way more.
I see
competition.
Shamar Bridges is going for that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that. My dog is going stupid.
Yeah.
Fort Valley, I think.
Yeah.
That's who he plays for.
Definitely. Yeah. I
But,
follow him on Instagram. I see him post every now and then.
He's doing good,
He's
man.
doing good.
And I support it. I just know either way you go,
Right.
and this is just for the viewers aspect, it's hard either way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
There's
saying? Like,
competition on
either way
either
you
side.
would have went,
Right.
it's fucking battles.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So neither way was the easier way.
Right.
It was just the way that you just chose to go.
For sure.
So
For sure. But yeah, as soon as I started working at Pet Paradise, I was just hanging out, kind of feeling out the place. It was cool because there were more dogs around than people, and like in your usual aspect, you're more used to more human interaction, right? So like it was a little different, kind of just being like the only human around 20 dogs.
And you were working early mornings,
right?
too.
Yeah, dude, bright early 6 a.m. Like it was discipline. It was very humbling for sure. Because it's like these people are dropping their dogs off and instilling trust in someone to make sure that they're healthy, happy, and alive when they come back. I take that serious. That someone like gives you that much trust, right off the back. So it's like you don't want to break that bridge because you don't know where it's gonna go. Mm-hmm. So like I definitely take each dog I encounter, whether they're like my guy who's doing a board and train who actually lives with me, hands on, or if they're just still living in home with their owner, then I try to pass on as much information or keep up on the dog's health and stuff. But yeah, just being a part of the upkeep of an animal's well-being and just seeing how happy it makes others, but also how happy it makes me.
Yeah, and I think like from and it's part of the storyline too for people to know is like you don't just get into a field. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it happens over time. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the great things that you can see here as well, that you're really trying to build this business from, from nothing to something.
Exactly.
And not everybody can do that as well. And you're taking the right, you've been doing this for years, you know what I'm saying? And you're just now, just as well as I say for myself, just now getting to a point to where, where it's like, I'm a dog trainer. I can 100% say I'm a dog trainer. I do this. I've done this. I have a reputation for this. You know what I'm saying? And that takes a long time to build up.
Right.
And you have that reputation more than I have with any other shit that I'm doing because you've been doing it longer than be with anything consistently.
Sure.
And that's a big deal with the field that you're in, to be consistent down on one thing. You know what I'm saying? You post your videos. You take care of your clients. You got your dogs, like I'm saying. Talk about this guy a little bit, Jasper.
Yeah.
He's a client of yours, obviously.
Yeah.
And how old is he?
Jasper is not even a year old.
And he's chilling.
He's just chilling.
We did take him to the dog park. We ran around a little bit, so he's a little tired.
Right.
But for a year old, man, like, dogs don't act like this.
No.
My dog didn't act like this. My black lab. He can't sit down. This dog's been sitting here just chilling this whole time, listening to us go on and on,
Just ramble about.
So, like, how do you go about? So, you went from Pet Paradise. When you left Pet Paradise, where did you go?
I went to Canines for Warriors.
And then at Canines for Warriors, you worked for them for how long?
For about a year and a half.
Grateful for the experience, but not the best place to be, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing bad to say about that. That's just you learn what you learn, take what you take, and if it's not for you, it's not for you.
Exactly.
Now you're at K-Pro K9, right?
Yep.
And then, so in between those little times, and I know this whole time too, you're still kind of on both sides of the world. Eventually you want to have PTK9.
Right.
So, down the road, PTK9, which stands for?
Primetime K9.
Thank you. And that would be your own business, yourself, 100% you.
Right.
You hire your people, do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I know you've been telling me a lot about K-Pro K9,
Yep.
the benefits of them, great to work for, great, great partners, you know what I'm saying? So tell me about them a little bit.
Sure. So with K-Pro K9, it's definitely made a complete 180 in my vision of life. Not only just as a dog trainer, but me as a human myself. I've definitely learned different techniques, different standards.
Yeah.
A lot more knowledgeable facts that I definitely wasn't as knowledgeable of in my past. But I'm thankful to know now to pass along to people who request our services, because information that we give is definitely, the main thing is what they're requesting, but it's something that's going to change their life and it's going to change their dog's life tremendously. So like the things that we say have to be, specific, have to be right to the point. We can't really just beat around the bush.
Yeah.
And make it seem like it's not that big of a deal because, we don't necessarily know how people actually feel inside of those moments with that stuff. So it's good to be able to just, address stuff hands-on and kind of just, make it seem like it's not, not a life or death situation, but, it also gives us a chance to reach out to people and, give them a structured way to communicate with their dog, which I think is like the biggest impact on these guys, because, if you can't communicate with your dog, then, it's not really a fun time to actually have one.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So,
that's one thing for a lot of people too. I've had either whether if they were friends in high school,
right,
or family members that have had dogs. If you and this is just off subject kind of thing, not really off subject, but
sure,
if you have enough money to say you got a dog, you should train your dog.
Right.
Whether if it's like, it doesn't have to be the whole
right,
everything, every trick in the book, but like,
sure,
make sure your dog isn't going stupid,
right,
angry. Anger issues are the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I would say make sure your dog isn't mean. If your dog
right.
isn't friendly to people,
sure,
it's one thing if it's not friendly to dogs. That's their primal instinct sometimes.
Sure.
With dogs, but with people, you want to at least make sure they're friendly.
Sure.
And if you don't have the money for that, or if you don't have the time to train your dog for that, you need
Sure.
to make sure you have the money put aside
For sure.
to have
It's a big
training
investment,
for that.
man. It's a big investment. They're a responsibility, just like a kid. I tell people, that I know that have like 5-6 dogs, and I'm like, can all your dogs?
I know some people that have one dog that can't even be there for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, it's both sides of the world. I mean,
Right.
5-6 dogs, you get overloaded. One
Sure.
dog, maybe you got 2 jobs and you got them chained up to the fence half the time. What kind of life is that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I'm not trying to shit on anybody that's like got a dog that they got to keep chained up or whatever. It's just like,
Sure.
fuck, man. Like, did you think about it before you did it? Like, did you really think about it?
Definitely.
That's why. That's the only reason I don't have a dog for myself right now. It's just
Sure.
because, like, and I'm getting to the point to where I've talked to you about it. You know what I'm saying? I want one. I do.
Right.
I really want one. But I want to make sure I have enough time for that dog to.
Right. Enjoy life himself.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the cool part of my job. They're dog friendly. So,
Mhm.
if I needed to, I could have them up there or whatever.
Exactly.
Which is cool. And, but yeah, I'm just trying to get to that point. I don't feel financially confident enough to say I could have a
Sure.
dog.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The time aspect isn't so much of it for me. It's really more of the like making sure he's properly taken care of.
Right.
Jasper looking at me like, come on, bro.
Right.
Come on, bro.
Man, this guy lives the life. He lives all the way out in Friend Gino Beach. So like, dude's jumping in waves, chasing some tennis balls, living
living the
golden
beach
life.
Yeah, literally living the golden.
Living the
retriever
golden
life.
life. Yeah. So he's just
awesome.
hanging. Yeah, he's a good dog.
And so, how many dogs in your days do you think you've trained?
I was actually counting the other day, and I lost track at like 1,500, dude. 1,500. 1,500.
There's a lot of fucking dogs to
That's
touch.
a lot of dogs to have hands on. 1,500.
I don't even think I've touched that many dogs.
So just thinking in your
Maybe
everyday
half
life,
because
right?
I've been around you. But
Sure.
I see a lot of new faces.
Yeah. 1,500.
Yeah,
Yep.
this is my new face of the week right here.
and
he's,
and
he's
the
about
number's
one of my
steadily
favorites.
growing.
I'm
Yeah.
not even gonna cap.
He's a
You don't
chill-
usually get dogs that are like a year old and they're this calm,
And
especially
they're-
like
yeah.
retrievers. Like retrievers, well, I mean, I know he's a little tired, but like
Sure.
still.
I mean, they're usually go, go, go,
That's the one thing I'll say.
He's got a really good impulse control. That's
Man.
really like my goal to build in dogs is impulse control. So that way, owners can give them structured commands and they'll actually do them for a time lapse versus it just being,
So for people that are curious, how long does dog training usually, like, estimated time range of, because obviously it depends on what you want, what you need,
Sure.
that kind of stuff. But like, if someone wants basic dog training,
Yeah.
sit, give me paw, lay down. When I open the door, stay put.
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Some simple stuff that they can do on their own.
Yeah.
Like how much time would they have to put into it?
Well, not even that. No, like if they hired somebody.
You're looking at less than 2 months worth of professional time given.
Yeah. And when you say 2 months, how many times a week in that is that in there?
Generally, you'll get about a session a week. Depends on what's going on. Depends on your time frame of availability. Also your trainer's availability. So if they don't have much on their schedule and you don't have much on your schedule, they might schedule you every 2 days that week. So that way you're just on a rigorous course where you're just getting everything right off the back. Boom, boom, boom. It's fresh. You're able to practice it, and then they set you up for success. But if it's something where your time needs to be managed and you might only have one really open day of the week, then once a week, 8 weeks, and you'll be good.
Yeah. And then so that's not bad. That ain't bad at all. How much does that usually cost?
So there's different ways where we have your general pricing where no discounts or anything. It's $8.99.
Okay.
We have a partnership with Nassau Humane, so if you adopt a dog from there, you get a discount for basic obedience from that.
That's dope.
So rescuing dogs and looking into getting training definitely is a good idea.
So you can literally save money
Yes.
by getting a rescue dog.
Definitely.
That's real.
Definitely.
That's real.
And then we also have 10% for fire, rescue, and police. And medical. So
I was watching this funny ass video the other day. I cannot remember what it was. But it was an old police dog.
yeah.
And damn, I cannot remember. It was something about the dude was pulling something out, and I don't remember if it was like a gun
Sure.
or like talking about some marijuana, some shit like that.
Right.
But he said something, and he said it, and the dog looked like, we don't play them games, man. Like, it was just so funny the way the dog looked. Like, dog just sitting there looking out the window, wagging his tail, happy.
Right.
This dude said something about a gun, and the dog just goes, just
Right.
was on his ass
On
about
it.
that.
Yep.
But I think that'd be cool to have a police dog. A little scary. Because me personally, I like to indulge in a little bit of THC every once in a while.
Sure.
So if a dog tries to bark at me every time I want to smoke, I'm going to be a little salty. Little salty. Man, for people that don't know, man, my dog Gino is also a rapper.
Yep. I definitely do.
He's definitely featured on the song with me back in the day. When I was first starting out.
Still on SoundCloud to this day.
Still on SoundCloud to this day. Probably the best one on SoundCloud. I was in a different type of breed back then.
For sure.
Yeah, me and Gino have really gone through it together. For people that don't know, it literally like met this dude when I was in kindergarten, first, second, something like that. I don't really know. Maybe I was in kindergarten. You was in second. You were a grade above me. Grade?
Yep.
1 grade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was always some people out there trying to fuck with me at recess, man. So Gino was my dog for that. Was my protection.
You already know.
We lived down the street from each other, so fishing and crabbing and just bullshitting was inevitable. We got into a lot of shenanigans together. I don't know, like some things I want to talk. There's a lot of things going through my brain, so it's like some things I want to talk about, some things I want to skip. There's a good chunk of time that's just like,
Sure,
and go past that, get on to the next thing. But yeah, man. Whether between family, my mom really good friends with your mom. We have just been through some shit. God damn it. When I left St. Patrick's, the school we was going to together, really it was crazy. We really started hanging out like crazy when I left. Actually, damn